Okay, welcome everybody. It's time to learn some new software, and we are going to focus on SketchUp. This is a program that, like Tinkercad, kind of helps you design projects and products and shapes and things like that. But this is more focused on the architectural side of things. So you might do floor plans, maybe simple blueprints, 3D houses, things like that. And it's actually pretty easy to use once you get by and learn some of the quirks and weird things about it that take some getting used to. But you'll get there, and we're going to learn this first tutorial together. So let's start by making sure we're signed in. So I'm not, so I need to click sign in. If you are already, then just hold on one second. We're going to sign in using Google. So do not type in a email here. We're just going to click in sign in with Google. And we're going to have to be patient because depending on the time of day, this may work slow. This may work quickly. Here it worked pretty quickly for me. So I know I'm signed in because now I have this little figure here. If I click on it, it has my name and everything. So I'm good to go. All right. So click on start modeling. And this is where you also might need to be patient. Sometimes it takes a minute to load. You'll get this screen. But hopefully for me, it'll go pretty quickly. While I wait, I'm going to move this guy out of the way so it doesn't block my screen. And we're waiting patiently. It should be coming up anytime now. And there it is. Okay. So my dashboard here has a bunch of already finished designs on it. Yours will probably have nothing unless you've used this before. But as you make designs, it'll start to build, and you can keep them in your account as long as you're using Google, at least with the email address that you have now. So let's start by creating a new. So click Create New. And eventually we're going to get a workspace just like this. Now you might be wondering who this person is. This person's name is actually Ty. The reason Ty is there is to give you some perspective on how large things are that you're making. We're going to go over that in just a second. So first thing I want to talk about are the tools over here. These are the main basic tools that you'll be using, eraser tool, line tool, rectangle, push pull. We'll go over those as we work here. But I do want to focus really quickly on these two tools right here. The orbit tool, if I click on that and move my mouse around, you can see it orbits in different directions. The other thing I want to point out is the pan tool. So if you click on that, and use your mouse. Now you can move it side to side, up and down, things like that. It's important to get used to those two. If you happen to have a mouse, you're in luck because you actually save your time by being able to click on the scroll button. So it's a scroll wheel that becomes a button. Click and hold on that, and I can orbit just like that without ever pressing the tool. And if I click on, hold down the shift key and do the same thing, I can pan. Okay, so you can skip using these tools just by having a mouse. I believe with a trackpad, you have to use two fingers and press at the same time. It's not as easy. You're probably easier off just using these two tools. The other thing I want to point out is the zoom tool. Okay, so if I click on the zoom tool, now I can simply click on the screen, move in and out, basically up and down. But again, with a mouse, you just use your scroll wheel. It's a lot easier. Um, let's say we're zoomed way out like this, and it looks like there's nothing on there. And you might be wondering, where's my work? Where did it go? Well, if you click down here at the three dots and choose Zoom Extents, it'll pop it right back into place. Okay, so that's useful if for some reason you get zoomed out. I'm honestly not sure how some people have that happen to them, but it does happen. All right, so let's start designing. I'm going to go ahead and pan over. Again, I'm using my mouse, so that makes it a little easier. I'm going to start with a rectangle. So let's go over here to the rectangle tool. All right. Now, SketchUp has axes. All right. So if we look at the red axis, that's our x axis. Like in math, we have our side to side x axis. We have a green axis for the y axis, and those are basically your horizontal axes. If you look at the blue line, that represents our up and down vertical axis. So we use the blue line to make things three-dimensional. So I want to start my drawing on the green and red lines, okay? So I'm going to click on origin. That's where all the lines meet together, and draw out just kind of like this. You'll notice down here in the dimensions that as I move my mouse, the dimensions keep changing. A lot of people think, well, I'll just click in here and type in my dimensions. It doesn't work. I'm clicking right now and nothing's happening, okay? This is one of the things you have to get used to with this program. Instead of clicking in that box, you're just going to move your mouse out, let go of your mouse, and simply type in the dimensions you want on your keyboard. So I've let go of my mouse and I'm going to just start typing now. I'm going to put 15 feet, so 1-5 apostrophe, that means feet, as we've learned in the measurement unit, comma, 10 feet apostrophe, and then hit enter. Okay, so what that's done is it's created a rectangle that's 15 feet wide by 10 feet deep. And if I look at orbit and I compare it to Ty here, yeah, that looks about 15 feet by 10 feet. So I know I've done it right. That's one of the reasons why they keep him here, just to see if your size looks about the way it should. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to show you saving. This is important so you don't lose your work. You do click here where it says Untitled, or you can just click Save. But I'm going to go ahead and click on Untitled. Ask you where to save it. You're going to choose the SketchUp tile here. And then you need to click down here and give it a name. So I'm going to just call this Random Object. Okay? Just because this is not going to really resemble anything. So click Save here. And you'll see that it says saving. And as soon as it just grays out and goes to save, that means you're done. And it even changed it to random object. So get in the habit of doing that frequently. All right, let's get back to designing. I'm going to show you one of the most commonly tools that you'll use in SketchUp, and that is the push-pull tool right here. So click on push-pull, and what you're going to need to do is find a closed polygon that you want to make three-dimensional. In this case, we have a rectangle here, and you'll notice as I hover over that rectangle, it lights up. So if I click on it and just move my mouse, I'm starting to make it three-dimensional. Now I can place this where I want, but I want it at a certain height. So I'm going to just let go of my mouse and type in 8 feet. 8 feet, which is an apostrophe, enter. And as you can see from Ty here, that's about 8 feet tall. That's about what we want. All right, so let's do a few other things to it. I'm going to go, this time I think I'm going to go with a circle. So I'm going to go to the 3 dots down here because the circle tool is not up here. Click on 3 dots, find the circle, and you can see now I have that tool on there. I'm going to just click somewhere, I don't know, here. And I'm going to start moving my mouse out. Now, I want it to be exactly a radius of 2 feet. So instead of trying to get it close, which is somewhere about here, I'm just going to go ahead and let go of my mouse and type in 2 feet, enter. And now it makes a nice 2-foot circle where I wanted it. Okay, so I'm going to push that through and make a hole through this big object. So I go back to my push-pull tool right here. Hover over that circle, click and hold, and you'll notice if I go back here, it's actually pushing that circle all the way past it. I don't want that. I just want it to the edge here. So I'm going to move my mouse back until it clicks onto that edge, and it even says on edge, and then I'm going to let go. So if I orbit here, you can see I've now cut right through that circle. Okay, so that's how you do that. Let's try some other things. Let's use a line tool. Okay, it looks like a pencil. Click on that. And let's say I want to start somewhere on this wall. Notice how as long as I'm on edge, it shows a red square. But if I keep going down here to about the middle, watch it change to a circle right there. That is the midpoint between this corner and that corner. So I'm going to go from that circle point, and I'm just going to, I don't know, put this randomly somewhere like here. But I do want it on edge. I don't want it here. I want it on edge. And then click. And you probably guessed it. I'm going to push pull. I'm going to go ahead and push all the way across. Again, I'm going to put it on edge. I could also hover over here, and when it says on face, that means it's lined up with the back face. Let go, and it's cut that off. Okay, very simple. Let's see. Let's try something different. Let's go with still the line tool, but I'm going to turn my object a little bit like that first. So I'm kind of looking straight down. Go to my line tool, and I'm going to just make like a random shape here. Let's see. Let's make like a tree. You can be as intricate as you want. Notice how I'm just clicking over and over again. And I'm just trying to make the shape of a tree. It's important that you make a polygon. You want to make sure that the parts all end up together. And you'll notice that I clicked at the end right at that corner. If you don't make your end point match up with your starting point, this won't work. Okay, so now I have a closed polygon. I can click on my push-pull tool, and I'm going to actually pull this up this time. So I'm adding material here. And let's see, I'm going to make it pull up 6 inches. So I'm going to let go of my mouse and type 6 and then shift apostrophe to make the quotation mark. It's not apostrophe, it's shift apostrophe. That means inches. Then hit enter. And right there, we've got a 6-inch kind of tree shape on top. Let's look at another tool. Go down to your 3 dots. And let's do the polygon tool. This is actually pretty clever the way they do this. So click on the polygon. And right now it's set to do a hexagon, so 6 sides. If you want more than 6 sides, you simply hold down, as it says right here, hold down your control key and hit plus. And then now it's 7 sides, now 8 sides. Each time you hit it, it goes up 1 side. And if you hit the minus sign, while you hold down the control key, you can see it changes. So I'm going to leave it as I'm going to do an octagon. So plus, plus, plus until I get to 8. And I'm going to click here and move my mouse. You can see it's got 8 sides. I'm not going to worry about the size. I'm going to make it pretty large. Okay. I can push pull that as well. So I'm going to push pull that one. You know what? Let me hit escape there. I made a mistake. I wanted to get out of that tool. I want to hit the push pull tool. There we go. All right, I'm going to push it through. I'm going to push it through all the way. Actually, let's leave it sticking out the back just so you see what that looks like. So now if I orbit back there, you can see it push that octagon all the way through. So yeah, if you want it to stop that opening at the edge, you have to put it on edge. Okay, let's try one more tool. This is kind of interesting. Go to the 3 dots, and we're going to choose a 2-point arc, not a regular arc, a 2-point arc. So click on that, and as the name implies, you need to choose 2 points. So I'm going to start, I don't know, about here. Click once. I'm going to move down here, click another time, and then by simply moving my mouse, I can make it do different shapes. I can have it do an arc like that. I'm actually going to do an inward arc like here, and I'm just going to click once. Okay, back to my push-pull tool, and I'm going to push that through and get rid of that little arc. Okay, on face, or I can choose on edge. Either one's going to do the same thing. Okay, so you can see how you can manipulate a shape pretty quickly. Again, you can't click down here. You have to actually just start typing your dimensions, so that does take getting used to. But you will get used to it and not have an issue once you get used to using this. Again, if you're zoomed way out here and you're like, where did my work go and why is it so small? Click the 3 dots down here, click zoom extents, and it'll pop it right back into your screen. That does happen from time to time. Okay, last thing I need to do before I conclude the video is I'm going to hit save again because it's going to save all my old work. And you can see it says saving, and when it grays out, it's done. Now I can go back here, click on the 3 lines. I can go back home, and you'll see it actually added the random object to my dashboard here. So now I know it's safe to close my laptop, in your case, your Chromebook, and you won't lose any of your work. So I hope that helps. That's a good start. You can play around with the program now. And as you do, I'm sure you'll get better and better at this and have some fun. Good luck.